I think it was in 2015 when I was here, and 16. At this time, you know that things had not been very easy. The threat of Daesh was it was in the neighborhood. And what I see today is this really very lively Kurdistan and Erbil. And I really hope that peace will come, stability will come, and I think it's in the interest of everybody in Iraq, in Kurdistan, and in the European Union. We want to first to increase our relations with Iraq. That's clear. But above all, also in Kurdistan, there are some opportunities. We discussed about this, and I think economically and also culturally, for instance, we can help in the future to have better relations. You know that we help a little bit on certain areas. For instance, also the Yazidi women. Yesterday I visited Cork, and I think that this is very important to show that after each war you have refugees in this region, and that in the European Union, also in a country like Luxembourg, we do everything not to forget this. I remember very well when I was here, thousands of people who had to leave Mosul at this moment had been in, I think it was Ghazi camp, and we visited this, and we saw the open arms of Erbil and of the region of Erbil. I saw the same thing yesterday. The governor of this city in the north who had his arms opened, and in this camp that we saw, more than 14,000 refugees are still living, and I think if you see these people coming from Europe, I am also Minister for Immigration. We have now millions of Ukrainians in Europe, and we have thousands of Ukrainians in Luxembourg. And these refugees are above all women and children. And I really can imagine if I saw yesterday we had a meeting with these young ladies who had been, who are survivors, and how difficult it must be. You have mothers there who, since 2014, do not know where the children are. Are they alive or are they dead? And I can imagine what they think, what they suffer, and therefore, with financial help already last year, and we continue this year, this can improve a little bit their very, very awful situation.
My last question, I want to say, what's your position about missiles attack to Erbil?
Yes, I saw President Barzani here, but also Safrin, and also Fallah, who I know them since a long time, and the former Foreign Minister of Iraq, Hosni Azebari, and we spoke about this. I think I am very clear. It is not acceptable that the neighborhood country is throwing missiles to Erbil and then disappear. This is an act of war, and I hope that the crimes committed by the Russians in Ukraine, that this is not something that is imitated here in this region. You have already not easygoing neighbors here, and if there are attacks by missiles on Erbil, on Kurdistan, this is an act, as I said, it's a violation of international law, and it's an act of war. So you know that in the European Union we consider Iraq as a country, and we know the difference between Baghdad and Kurdistan and Erbil, but one of the reasons, the main reasons, is to visit the Yazidi survivors. I know Nadia Murad since years and years. She visited me twice in Luxembourg, and last November I had also a delegation of these survivors who came to Luxembourg, and I promised them to visit them. So I have done it in the Hook. I was not in Sinjar because that was too difficult to make the travel to travel to Sinjar. But I saw everything I wanted to see. I saw in the camp of Kekam, I think I saw 15,000 people from Sinjar, younger people above all, but also older people who are in this camp, and I spoke with some of them, and they refuse to leave the camp because they say it is not secure enough in Sinjar. And the governor was with me. He is really a governor who has a good heart, I think, really, because he accepted thousands and thousands of people who had to flee from Sinjar, and he understands it. But he told me, we do not want that all these people from Sinjar, that they leave Iraq and go to Europe, for instance. He wants to keep them in Iraq and to do everything they can do. What is needed is the implementation of this special law. Sinjar, the special law on the survivors. And I heard in Baghdad and also here that to do this they need money. They need money. They need a budget. And I hope that soon, maybe that there is a new government, but that's not. I will not be not implicated there, or a budget that really can go in favor of these survivors. It is not only the survivors, it's also all the others who are there. And therefore, this effort has to be supported by the European Union. I was the first foreign minister of the European Union who was there, and I do not think and I do not hope that I will be the last, that what they told me also. So here we have to show to Europe, to the world, that what happened with these Yazidi people who had been killed and deported because they are Yazidis. That's the only reason. That's like during Hitler time, the killing of Jewish people because they had been Jewish, and therefore we have to really not to forget this and to show it to the world that this is not accepted. We are in the 21st century. It happened in 2014. Now we are 8 years later, and a lot of these people are still in camps, and their life is really not easy, really not easy. But I saw children of a family with 5 children. They are in the secondary school now, so they have the possibility in the camps to go to school, and that's very good. Unfortunately, the money of UNHCR, the volume is not going up but down. Everybody told me that this agreement is very important and that a new government has to implement it, whatever it means. We are still in a situation where this law is, I think, voted a year ago, and it is not yet implemented. And therefore, I know that 2 days ago, the third round doesn't, there is no result again because the quorum is not there, what I heard. So a new government, that would be the solution, I hope. But even this government could, I think, should do more to find a solution there. Really, a region that suffered so much, and there is now a solution on the table that Baghdad, Erbil, and all those who are implicated have to do their best. It's a political will. It's not a matter of money here. It's a political will. In the years 15, 16, we came even, I think it was 16, with Didier Reinders, the Foreign Minister of Belgium, and Koen, the minister, Bert Koen, the minister of the Dutch country of Netherlands, because we wanted to bring our solidarity to Kurdistan. This was the time when Daesh was still active here, and I remember in this camp in Ghazi, where I really saw from and heard from the people. I think it's 20 or 30 kilometers from Mosul. What had been the conditions in this city, and still a lot of people are still in the camps. That's also awful for these people, because they have not the possibility to go back in security and to live a normal life in Mosul. That's what I heard. Therefore, at this moment, it was above all to show our solidarity during the Daesh attacks here in Iraq. And today, it's, yes, 8 years later, for me it was very important to see all my friends here, all the people I know, but also to bring again something that many more ministers, I think, will do in the future, come here and express and show that we do not forget Iraq. Iraq has no easygoing neighbors. Influence of some neighbors is huge in Iraq, but the future of Iraq must also be founded on sovereignty. And you Iraqians, you have the destiny of your country in your hands. I know that the mentality is a little bit different in Baghdad than in Erbil, but you are one country. We have this in a lot of countries in the world. So my advice is it's not an advice for Baghdad or for Erbil, but just we consider you as one country with the specificity clearly of Kurdistan, and of seeing very well that you have the Arab population and you have the Kurdish population, of trying to live together.